So our work centers around the regulating of shellfish in Connecticut. Currently, there are stakeholders at work to draft the vision for Connecticut shellfish. And so Connecticut shellfish is a big industry in Connecticut. It's one of our largest natural resource industries. It's reached $30 million this past year, in just oysters and hard clams, I believe. And the process that they're going through to actually reach this sort of vision plan, we don't have an official plan for the recreation, commercial, and natural resource management of our shellfish here in Connecticut. And as the resource is increasing and the resource use is increasing, we want to have a comprehensive vision for the future of Connecticut shellfish. And so the process of going through that is a participatory process. It's involving a lot of stakeholders, government, public. It's run by extension officials at Connecticut Sea Grant and at the NOAA Milford Lab, Shellfish Lab. And so it's comprised of a steering committee, which is sort of a stakeholder representative group that oversees the process and makes sure everyone's heard. And then the task force is the doing body, so they actually schedule all the public process and they're actually writing the vision plan. And then the public process involved meetings, so they could identify the priorities between the different stakeholder groups and then reconcile those together, and that the task force did that. And then there's the results, which are these recommendations that are going to be built into the plan, and then those recommendations keep going back for public comment, and then the ultimate goal is a vision plan, and the most important goal of the vision plan is to identify measurable goals for Connecticut shellfish for recreation, commercial, and natural resources.
So the plan was first realized in 2013, so that's when we started having this kind of public process and to come up with certain ideas that would be involved in the Connecticut Shellfish Plan. Later that year there was a meeting among all the different stakeholders in this project to discuss what they would want to see in the plan itself. In 2014, the steering committee that Ron was talking about was formed and again had another big discussion. There was also a conference that was held in February to discuss more different regulations within the plan and who was really going to benefit from what. And then this initial timeline and plan went out for public comment and review, so there's been a lot of cycling in between these different periods. Currently we're in the third public comment period, and the plan was actually supposed to be finalized at the end of 2015. However, there's been a lot more discussion, so there's no real end date projected, but they're thinking that things should be finished up pretty soon. So the Connecticut shellfish industry is the second largest in New England. So it's really a growing industry that has been on the rise since its inception in, I believe, around the 1800s. So this is a graph of the economic revenue over time. So there was measurements started to be, not measurements, catch quantities started to be taken in the 1990s, and we have data up through 2010 that we were able to work with. So this area here is indicating when there was a disease outbreak in the oyster beds of the Connecticut shellfish industry, killing off 80% of the stock. So after that, hard clams became the major source of economic revenue up through today.
So here we have a map of the shellfish areas in Connecticut. So we have the commercial, recreational, and natural shellfish beds. And the majority of the commercial shellfish beds are located along the western side of the Connecticut coast.
Okay, and lastly, we have environmental impacts. So bivalves are often seen as a positive thing for the environment because they filter out all the nutrients and plankton that are in the water, which can reduce eutrophication and toxic algae blooms. Shellfish also, they form reefs, which beds that are built for aquaculture can often facilitate the growth of those natural reefs. And then there are some structures, nets and bags that aquaculture industry uses that can attach many fouling organisms, which can be also true for the reefs because of the hard substrate they create. And these fouling organisms may lead to invasive species or just a complete overtake of fouling organisms. So not only do bivalves have important ecological positive impacts, but they can cause some harm too if it's too overtaken.
And so for other, if you're interested in the history of Connecticut shellfish, we also have some information on the center poster. Any questions?
Okay, that was 5 minutes.